A fresh NFL season is upon us, and so is a third season of the To The Points podcast. Alongside former Pro Bowl cornerback Jerry Azumah, I'm Sam Brief, and Zoom, happy opening day.
Yes, man, we are back into the NFL, opening season, games all over the place. I am super excited. I'm pumped up for this.
By the way, it is opening day, but we got to start with a quick happy birthday to our faithful leader, the captain of the ship, Jerry Azumah. You just celebrated your birthday. You got to go down to Mexico City, party hard, so you must be feeling pretty good.
A lot of tacos in my stomach, a lot of cervezas, maybe a little bit of tequila, but it was a lot of nice and relaxation going on out there in Mexico City. I am so happy to be back and ready for some football.
Yeah, now it's time to get down to business a little bit. Yeah. The Bears have so much hype. I just finished watching the season of Hard Knocks. Episode 5 was an absolute gem. So I got my old school Bears jacket here, the Super Bowl 85 patch. Hopefully we can add a new Super Bowl patch in the not-so-distant future. Yeah. That's my hope. But let's start outside of Bears country and go to what's happening on Thursday Night Football to kick off the NFL season. It's an absolute gem of a matchup at Arrowhead Stadium. You have the reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson. His Baltimore Ravens take on the defending Super Bowl champs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's start with the Ravens offense and the Chiefs defense, two of the best units in the NFL last season. Zoom, take me through the weeds. What should we expect under the lights?
Well, first of all, both of these teams have beef because they were in the AFC Championship game a year ago. So there's a lot of bad blood that's going to be going on between these two teams. But the Ravens offense is explosive, and they are fantastic all over the place. They got the one big guy, King Henry. And I tell you what, the read option is going to be incredible because you have King Henry, and then you also have Lamar Jackson, running around all over the place. So those two are going to add a 1-2 punch for the running game. And it's going to be very difficult to stop because you have King Henry, who obviously can chomp up those yards. And then you have Lamar, who's just explosive, and he can, strike and get into the touchdown end zone whenever he wants to. So the up front for the Chiefs, they are very solid. They have Chris Jones, obviously, as you know, and he's kind of like the anchor for that defense. So that's where the matchup is going to be really, really nice to see. I think the up front with the Ravens offense versus the Chiefs defensive line up front is going to be a main matchup in those trenches.
It's amazing what the Ravens running game has now. You have this unbelievable speedy quarterback talent, right? A Michael Vick 2.0, faster than Vick in Lamar Jackson, with this big, plotting, absolute behemoth force, Derrick Henry. I think it's an underrated storyline of the NFL offseason that Derrick Henry, one of the greats of our generation, is now in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. They get a big test in that Kansas City defensive line, that's for sure. Absolutely. Now let's flip it around, Zoom. Patrick Mahomes, sort of the story of last season was, hey, Mahomes' supporting cast sucks. And then the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I know you and I are in agreement. The supporting cast is better this year for the Chiefs offense. They face a Ravens defense that's retooled a little bit, a new defensive coordinator and some new faces. So what should we expect? Chiefs O against Ravens D.
Well, first of all, you have Patrick Mahomes. And he is sensational. He is going to make every single throw possible. Obviously, you have Travis Kelce there, and let's face it, they have playmakers all over the place on the offensive side of the football. So Mahomes is going to get the ball to everyone. But Xavier Worthy, he's the guy that has run the fastest 40 ever in NFL history at the Combine. And I think they're going to plug him and inject him in right away and get the ball to him. If anyone can get him the ball, it's Mahomes. So I think that he's going to air the ball out to him. It's going to be interesting to see how the Baltimore Ravens defense, especially in the secondary, adjusts to that, because now you have a guy that can go vertical and stretch the field. And then you also have Travis Kelce, over the middle. So they're going to have to try to figure some things out with Baltimore on every single level, because obviously Kansas City can beat you really quick with the quick strikes, but they can also run the ball well with people like Pacheco.
So it sounds like your eyes are on Xavier Worthy. I know mine are too. It feels unfair. Like it feels like I whip out my phone and Venmo Jeff Bezos like $100 right now. It's the rich getting richer. How did we let Xavier Worthy, this next level talent, fall into Mahomes and Reed's lap? It's just, I mean,
Right.
come on.
It feels like cheating almost. It does.
Yeah,
It definitely
I mean,
feels
it's
like
not.
cheating.
It's not. Like, to be clear, Zoom and I are not saying that the Chiefs are cheaters. They're great people, I'm sure. Never met them. But, yeah, Worthy is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Okay,
Right.
so you gave me some of the matchups to watch. You got a pick for Baltimore, Kansas City?
I tell you what, I think this game is going to be extremely tough. Like I said, there's a lot of bad blood, and I think it's going to be reminiscent of like a playoff type of atmosphere in game. Obviously, the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions, the banners will be dropping that night underneath the stars, and playing at that stadium is very, very hard. But I think it's going to be a close game. I'm looking at 24-21. I think the Chiefs squeak it out. And I think they take this victory.
Chiefs aren't losing on opening night back-to-back seasons. We know what happened last year. Detroit walked in there and beat them. And
That's right.
Mahomes and Reed were embarrassed. Obviously, they came back and won the Super Bowl anyway, but that's not going to happen 2 years in a row. I'll agree with you. I'll go a little more high-scoring maybe. Let's say 31-27 Kansas City. You mentioned the noise. Zoom, I hear so much from current NFL players about how loud it is at Arrowhead Stadium. You played there a couple times.
Yeah.
Is it that loud?
It's extremely loud, but as a player, you're not really thinking about all of that stuff. I mean, there's just too much stuff that's happening right on that football field and in front of your face, so you're not even paying attention to the crowd. But if you start messing up, they'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, you got to shut out the noise at
That's right.
Arrowhead. Okay,
That's
we
right.
turn the page from Thursday to Friday. This is the first Friday night game that the NFL has played since 1970, when neither of us were alive. So the first in our era. It's going to feature an NFC North rival, the Green Bay Packers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I know you're not supposed to wear green in Brazil, so these two green-oriented teams will be taking away the green from their uniforms. Zoom, let's start with Jordan Love and the Packers offense against the Eagles defense. Where are your eyes going to be?
I'll tell you what, Jordan Love had a really good year last year. I mean, he was able to come in and make a lot of plays and find his wide receivers. I think that he's going to come in and find a rhythm right away. And I think that that's going to be good. Running the ball is going to be key, but I think that he's going to be throwing the ball all over the place. I anticipating him hitting a lot of his wide receivers, especially over the middle of the football field, because I feel like that's where the Eagles could be vulnerable right there. Even though the Eagles are very good with their secondary and their linebackers, I think that they can take some advantage of them by getting the ball right there in the middle of the football field, Jordan, getting the ball right there in the middle of the football field and sustaining drives and keeping those things moving. So I really like Green Bay's passing attack, quick passing attack. I think a lot of three-step drop is going to happen, and then they're going to try for the cheap ball, the big strike over the top. So collectively, I think they have a really good game plan coming into this game, and I think that they're going to rely on Jordan to basically make a lot of plays, especially in the middle of the football field.
Jordan Love is legit. Bears fans might not like to hear that because we're used to hearing Favre and Rodgers, and Green Bay always has a good one. And they have another good one in Jordan Love. He got $220 million in the offseason. The guy on the flip side of this matchup, Jalen Hurts, has $255 on his contract. So nearly $500 million of quarterback money between these two. Speaking of Hurts, give me the deets on this one. You got Philly's offense against Green Bay's pretty sneaky good defense.
Yeah, their defense is definitely tough. They're going to be flying around and trying to make a lot of plays. But I really like the offense, of the Eagles. I think that they're going to come together. I think they're going to make some plays, and some good things are definitely going to happen. They have to sew up, the trenches, and I really like that battle right there. I think the offensive line versus that defensive line is going to be a battle. But overall, I really like the Eagles and what they're going to try to do, especially like on the outside and on the edges. 3-step drops are going to happen, and they will be taking some strikes, but they're going to just try to, play well possession football. They're going to try to minimize their risk, try to eliminate as many penalties as possible, and just try to link plays to eventually get into the end zone.
The NFL's first ever game in Brazil. This one should be fun to watch on TV. Zoom, what's your pick?
Brazil. You know what? I think this is going to be a tough game also. I really like both teams going into this, but I think Green Bay will be winning, but I think that the Eagles are going to come in and get them at the very, very end. I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw a touchdown and just seal the deal. I have them winning 27-24, and I love it when the Packers lose.
Yeah, you and I see eye to eye. There is no way I'm picking the Packers to win on opening night. I've got the Eagles 24 and the Packers 21. So, Zoom, you and I see eye to eye on multiple fronts. Have you ever been to Brazil?
I've never been to Brazil. I definitely want to go, though.
Yeah, me too. One day. We'll make it happen. To the point.
Maybe next year
powwow.
When the Bears play there.
Yeah, live from Brazil. They'll send us, I'm sure. All right, we got one more primetime matchup to get through, and then we will get to the Bears. Is all the hype with Caleb Williams and this new-look team going to be worth it? But let's start with Sunday Night Football. Another Bears divisional rival, this time the Detroit Lions.
They
face Matthew Stafford, their old friend, and the Los Angeles Rams. So let's start with Stafford and the Rams offense against the Lions defense on Sunday night. What do you got?
Well, they're high-powered all over the place. Stafford, he can sling that ball, and he is a really solid quarterback. You obviously have Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. So they are not short of weapons. I think that their use of misdirection and motion is going to come up a lot. That's what they do for masterminds, and they like to create mismatches off of that stuff. So you'll see like a lot of bunch packages, motions across the formation and things like that, quick snaps. So I think that they're going to try to establish a rhythm with the quick snaps, the quick throws, things like that. But I really think they're going to start looking for Puka Nacua. They're going to look for him in the intermediate routes, and especially Cooper Kupp as well. I think they're going to try to move him across the formation and try to catch him on like quick over routes and things like that, and then try to pound the rock with Williams. So overall, I feel like they're going to have a really good, scheme set up for the offensive side of the football, and I think that they will execute it with Stafford.
This might feel too simplistic, but sort of like what we were talking about with Kansas City. You had Tyreek Hill back in the day, so explosive, and then suddenly Xavier Worthy. It's like this dude could be even faster.
Right.
It feels like that with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I'm like, this Puka guy is just Kupp 2.0 and maybe even better. But they have them both at the same time right now, and that makes this offense just deadly.
Electric.
All right, let's flip it to the other side. Jared Goff is looking to lead Detroit to the promised land. They came so close last year. Maybe this is the year, but they got to start on Sunday night against a Rams defense that doesn't have Aaron Donald for the first time in forever. So give me the deets on this matchup.
Well, I think because they don't have Aaron Donald right there, I think that Goff, first of all, he is going to command a lot of attention because he is a solid quarterback. But Montgomery is going to try to be that guy. Along with Gibbs. I think they're going to add a 1-2 punch, and they're going to try to run where Aaron Donald is not. And he's not going to be right there in the middle of that football field. So I think that they're going to try to establish the run right away. And then also, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be really big along with Sam Laporta. So they're going to try to find ways to get them the ball as well. Look, Amon-Ra St. Brown, over the middle of the football field, deep intermediate routes, I can see him tearing it up. And I think that Goff is going to look for him very often. And Laporta, I mean, he runs deep over routes and things like that. So I really think that they're going to try to, get people in space and then try to pound the ball with Montgomery and Gibbs. So overall, I really like their feel. They have something to kind of prove. And I think they're going to go out there and just try to get it done and smash them out with some smash mouth football right away.
It's kind of interesting. I feel like on this football field on Sunday night in Detroit, you have some of the best receivers in the game at those short, middle distance, over the middle routes in Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you've got the quarterbacks to dish it out with Stafford and Goff. They're very similar offenses in that way.
They are. You're going to see a lot of motion, and I think that you're going to see a little more run because they want to establish some type of a rhythm, and then you're going to see some short throws and then some deep ball passes.
Well, Kyren Williams was one of the most valuable players in pretty much the football equivalent of WAR, that WAR stat from baseball. You apply that to football, Kyren Williams is near the top of the entire NFL, so
That's
he
right.
might really give the Rams that X factor. Well, let's get to the picks now. I'm ready to pick. This is a close game. Who you got at the end?
Well, the Lions. I mean, they've got the coach that is going to lead them. And they also have a really good base of players that really want to go out there and make an impact. They were really close last year, and I feel like they're really disappointed. So I think that they have a chip on their shoulder. I see them winning this game. I think they're going to put up 27 points, and I'm going to go 27-24. I think the Lions win this game.
I will disagree with you for the first time in quite some time. And I'm going LA in a pretty low-scoring game. I'll say 20-17. The Rams come in and get a win. This is a really gritty team. And I can see the Lions. They're going to be a playoff team, make no mistake. This is probably still a division-winning team. There might be some growing pains, I think, in the first couple of weeks. And it's as they take that step from a pretty good team to a very good team to an elite team, the tape's out on them. They got a first-place schedule now. The target is on the back of the Detroit Lions for the first time since I've been alive. So I'm feeling this veteran team led by Stafford, led by an offensive mastermind in Sean McVay, and a really well-balanced attack to come in and make the last play when it counts. Rams by 3 on Sunday night.
You know what? I'm not even actually mad about that because it all helps out the Chicago Bears.
It all does, baby, and that's why I'm wearing this jacket. Bear down. Let's start talking about the Bears.
That's right.
The team that could be the darlings of the NFL, the Hard Knocks glow up, the Caleb Williams hype. Will it all be worth it? Will the Bears actually win enough games to make the playoffs? It all starts at 12 o'clock at Soldier Field on Sunday against a sneaky good Tennessee Titans team. The spread's 4.5. And Zoom, we got to start with the Bears offense. It's good. It's Caleb Williams. It's DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. All these guys face off against the Titans defense. So where are your eyes going to zone in?
My eyes are going to zone in, obviously, on Caleb Williams. I mean, he is the number 1 draft pick for the Chicago Bears, the franchise quarterback. So hopefully he can be that, and we can sew up this quarterback mess that we've been having, for a long time. And Caleb Williams can come out and just be that franchise guy. But my eyes are really going to be closer to not only him, but it's going to be in the trenches as well, the offensive line. I think the offensive line has to protect him because there are some growing pains that are going to happen with a first-year quarterback, a rookie quarterback. He's going to hold on to the ball a little bit. He's going to get out of rhythm and things like that. So it's going to be for the offensive line to protect him. So my eyes are going to be glued on what the offensive line does. Swift, I think, is going to be really big as well because I think that he will get into some trouble and he has to dump that ball off to Swift. And we've seen in the preseason what Swift can do. But I really like the receiving core that the Chicago Bears have. They're not short of weapons. If you get the ball out to any one of these guys, they have the potential to take it to the house. So this is a really good setup for Caleb Williams, to be successful as a young rookie. Usually I don't really like the rookies playing right away because there's just so much stuff that can go wrong and there's so much pressure and so much hype and, so much attention that's on this team right now, specifically with Caleb Williams. But it's all about him going out, just trying to be relaxed and finding some type of a rhythm, getting some protection, and hitting his best friend, which is going to be Swift. I think Swift is going to be his best friend. I think that he's going to have a really productive day.
Yeah, one of the best friends of any rookie quarterback is going to be that running back, a solid guy to hand the ball off to and to dump it off to. I'm just hoping Caleb doesn't press too much, right? Because we know, any quarterback, especially a rookie, is going to make mistakes in any NFL game. Those come by the dozens. So when he throws that interception, when he holds onto the ball too long and gets sacked on a key third down, can he mentally stay in that? I trust that he can. I mean, this is a really high-level football player and thinker. He won the Heisman Trophy for a reason. This dude can ball. He has to try not to be Superman. The team has the weapons. The defense, which we'll get to in a second, is legit. Trust what's around you and just keep the line moving. That should be enough with the talent that's around Caleb Williams.
Right. As long as he gets the ball out of his hands quickly, then good things will happen. If he holds on to the ball, then bad things are going to happen very quickly. But we have to have realistic expectations as well. You know, Caleb Williams, he's the number 1 draft pick. He is the franchise quarterback of the Chicago Bears. But he's still a rookie. And rookies make mistakes in the NFL, and they get welcomed with those mistakes right away. So I think, like you said, he has to be patient. He has to relax. You know, he has to find that rhythm, rely on the people that are closest to him, like his running back, get the ball into, you know, people like Cole Kmet. I mean, he is a big target that could be really good for Caleb Williams right over the middle of the football field. So I expect Cole Kmet to have a really good, solid performance with just possession, you know, just a possession down type of guy where you go out pretty much a button hook for the people that don't know. And Williams needs to just throw it in rhythm. So if Williams can do those like basic things, then I think that we have enough playmakers that once the ball touches their hands, they can take it, you know, and get first downs and possibly touchdowns. And I think it's going to be very, very, very good for him. He's going to be in a system where he has to learn and process things very quickly. So it's this first game. There's going to be some excitement. The jitters are going to be going. He's going to be all over the place. But from what I've seen, I think that he's going to be able to calm down and take full advantage of the veteran leadership that's around him and make some solid decisions.
You talk about Caleb Williams' nerves. I mean, it was great timing for the Bears to be on Hard Knocks. And I remember before the first preseason game, someone asked if he was nervous, and he said, I'm not that nervous. I haven't really been nervous since my freshman year in high school. My first game, I thought I was going to throw up. And since then, he's developed this ironclad mentality. And I know this is the NFL, and nothing's bigger than it, right? The Soldier Field is going to be rocking at 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Exactly.
I trust that Caleb Williams will rise to the hype, rise to that level. And just remember, Bears fans, Peyton Manning was 3-13 his rookie year. Troy Aikman was 1-15. Those are two of the greatest to ever do it. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is going to have such an abysmal record. This Bears team should be around 500, if not better than that, if not a playoff team. But let's not set our expectation like Caleb Williams is going to look like prime Peyton Manning on day one, because that's not going to happen. We just need him to be good enough. He's got the pieces around him.
But there's a lot of people that are out there that are expecting that. So I just want to put it out there that, guys, this is going to be the first game. Lower those expectations. You know, don't get too excited yet. He's still a rookie. He's going to go through those little rookie growing pains. But I think that he'll overcome that. This is a really good football team. We haven't really seen them perform a lot together. This is a brand new team as well, and brand new coaching staff. So it's going to be a collective group of everybody being on the same page. And if it can come together quickly against the Tennessee Titans, the better. And I think that the outlook is going to be really good for the rest of the future.
Well, the other half of that collective, the team that has come together, is the Bears defense, which it might not quite be at the level of some of the Bears teams you played on, but they got some dudes here. Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, big money guys. Edmonds leading the linebacker core. So Bears defense against the Titans offense. Will Levis in his second season with the new head coach in Brian Callahan. So Bears D, Titans O. Give me the dirty.
Right. Well, the Bears defense, I think that they've taken a step from last year, a step up from last year. Last year, you know, there was some turmoil. You know, they lost their defensive coordinator. So that means Eberflus had to come in and take control of that defensive group. And he did, and they were a little shaky, but then they just got better and better and better and better. And then they turned into like a top 5 defense. So these guys know how to play. And I think that Eberflus knows how to get the best out of these guys as well. But Will Levis is coming into town, and he's going to be scrappy. You also have Pollard and Ridley. You have this guy by the name of D. Hopkins, who's really good as well. Tyler Boyd is another one. So they're going to be tested for sure. I think the ball is going to be all over the place. The Tennessee Titans offense is going to look completely different because King Henry is gone. So they're not going to have this running machine that they have to try to stop. Even though Pollard's there, he's no King Henry. But I think the ball is going to be in the air a lot. And with that said, I think that the defense is going to come and blitz Will Levis, because Will Levis is a young guy too, but they're going to try to make him uncomfortable as possible. So the matchups that I'm going to be looking for are going to be in the trenches again. I'm going to look for Sweat to come off that edge and be extremely disruptive. The Bears are really good at every single level defensively, and then get into the secondary. I think the secondary is their strength, actually. So if they decide to throw the ball all over the place, I think it plays into the strength of the Chicago Bears secondary, and I think that they're going to turn it to ball hawks and pick Will Levis off. So I definitely have some change on Will Levis throwing an interception against this secondary.
Yeah, I would as well, although I will say the Bears secondary is going to be challenged. This is, under the radar, one of the better wide receiver cores in the NFL between DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd also. Not to mention a good offensive line. They signed Lloyd Cushenberry from Denver to a pretty big contract. He's the center. He'll be snapping the ball to Will Levis. You anchor that offensive line. You give a guy like Levis good wideouts on the outside, and you put an offensive-minded head coach in charge in Brian Callahan, who has a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
And this is going to be a solid team. They'll contend for a playoff spot, but will they contend for a win at Soldier Field on Sunday? Zoom, what do you think?
Right. They will be. They'll be in the mix for sure, but I'm not even worried about them. I'm just worried about the beloved Chicago Bears. I'm actually going to be watching every single phase of the game, obviously, offense, defense, but special teams is going to be really big too. Torrey Taylor, who they drafted in the 4th round, the Chicago Bears, I mean, this guy has been electric, and I don't think people really understand what flipping the field and pinning an opponent back down, to make them drive the length of the field. And that's very difficult to do, how important that aspect is. Offense, defense, special teams. And right now, the Chicago Bears feel like they have cohesiveness across all of those areas. So Torrey Taylor, I think that he's going to get a couple of bombs, and I think that he's going to help keep Caleb Williams out of trouble as well. And I'm really looking forward, and I'm really excited for this game. I think collectively, if they put everything together and they can just eliminate mistakes and just be fundamentally sound, I think that they're going to really be productive by putting the ball in the end zone, taking the ball away, and then pinning opponents where they have to drive the length of the field, and then they become, a little wild because they're out of their comfort zone.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Torrey Taylor is awesome. Dude's awesome.
He is.
48.2. That's the yards per punt the dude averaged his senior year at Iowa. So pretty much half the football field as his average. He had plenty of punts over 60 yards, and he had plenty of practice because that Iowa Hawkeye offense was atrocious. Torrey Taylor was a good pick for the Bears in the 4th round, and now it's time to see that pay off. Zoom, the spread is Bears -4 at home. What's the score we're going with?
Yes, so I think that the Bears are going to put some points on the board. I like this group. I like what the feeling of opening night. It's alumni weekend, so I get to see all my guys that I played with and guys that were before me, guys that are after me, and things like that. The field is going to be electric. The stadium is going to be incredible. I'm going to be just jumping up and down for the most part all game. But I really think that it's going to come together. I think that it's going to start off a little rough and then eventually come together, and then they're going to really pound them in the 4th quarter. So I'm going with the Chicago Bears to get this victory at home, and it's going to make everybody feel good and feel at ease, and I think that they're going to cover the spread. So put some change on the Chicago Bears covering the spread.
I got the Bears by a point. I think we're going to be so nervous. I say the Bears are losing by a touchdown at halftime. And the sky's falling, and Twitter's breaking in Chicago. And then Caleb leads a drive, Santos punches it through, Taylor holds it down, and the Bears win on a last-second field goal by a point.
Sounds like a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's going to happen, dude. It's going to be 24-23 Bears. So I'll say the Titans cover, but, you just got to win the game. That's all I really care about. Bears get a win, start 1-0. Okay, Zoom,
That's right.
Fun predicting all of this with you. And since it's our first episode of the season, I feel like we got to get our Super Bowl picks on the record, just so at the end of the season when I'm right, I can go to the tape and say, look, I actually predicted it. So let's each go AFC champ, NFC champ, Super Bowl champ. Just get it on the board. Get it out there.
Man.
Into the abyss. You want to start or you want me to start?
Why don't you start? Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to make it nice and
goodness.
quick and easy.
Okay.
I'm going to say Philly over Houston. Oh, that's my gut. Just came out.
Philly over
Houston.
Houston. You have Houston going, huh?
I got Philly over Houston.
C.J. Stroud, second-year quarterback, making it to the Super Bowl.
I love what Stroud did in the back half of his rookie year, and I love that even though it was in a loss, he got meaningful playoff experience, which will play dividends in the form of a deep run this year. We know the highlight that they add Stephon Diggs, and a high-level elite veteran wideout like that, that's the real best friend of a second-year/rookie quarterback. But also, look at what they're doing defensively. They added Danielle Hunter, who is among the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. This is one of the best defensive units. D'Amico Ryan's a solid coach. I'll go Texans to take down the Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl. But in the Super Bowl, they lose to Philly. A Philly team that, if you take out the horrible stretch, just made me sick how bad they looked in the back half of the season. If you take out that stretch, this is one of the best teams in the NFL. I think Jalen Hurts is a dude. And you know what? In the NFL, dudes get the job done. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown on the outside. Saquon Barkley added at running back. The defense just has to be good enough, and I trust that they will be. So give me Philly over Houston in the Super Bowl down in New Orleans.
You know what? I'm with you on Philly. And for all the reasons that you said, they are really explosive, and I think that they are definitely going to get there. But they got to face Lamar and King Henry in that defense. And I don't know, man. I just like the Ravens to finally get one in Baltimore. So I'm going the Ravens over the Eagles.
An all-birds Super Bowl. And this podcast is clearly very big on Philadelphia. Now, Zoom, I consider you more of an expert. You played 7 NFL seasons. I still have yet to play one. But
you got to get one.
Yeah, no, that's why I say I have yet to. You have to keep every option open. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. I can do anything a team wants me to do. But so I consider you the expert, and I feel like you've fallen into the trap that I fell into last year. I picked Baltimore. I thought Lamar would finally get over the hump, and it seems like he never does in the playoffs. So why this year?
I just like the total chemistry that they have. And Lamar has something to prove. I think that this is the year that he proves it. It's going to be tough to get to the Super Bowl, as we know, but I think that he has the supporting cast to do that. I think that he has the right coaching staff to do that. And I think that he's just in a zone right now where he's like, you know what? Enough is enough. A lot of expectations have been put on him and put on this team that it's time to show and prove. And I think that he's going to do it this year. Now, the Eagles, I mean, they are basically set up for victory, but I think it's all going to come crashing down to those birds of Baltimore.
All right. Well, when Joe Flacco led the Ravens to their Super Bowl in 2013, it was down in the Big Easy in New Orleans. We had the infamous blackout of 30 minutes. They'll be back in New Orleans, hopefully no blackout, and you say the Ravens win the Super Bowl. I'm going with the Eagles. Either way, it will be a bird. Okay, folks. That's it for Zoom and me. We're going to sign off and then go watch some football, Zoom, right?
All right.
Alongside Jerry Azumah, I'm Sam Brief. This has been episode 1 of season 3 of To The Points. We'll talk to you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.